And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Pollard versus Jones. Step forward, please.
24-year-old student Sherry Pollard is suing her mother, nurse Pat Jones, for the return of her belongings. Pat is countersuing for phone bills, storage fees, and the return of property.
Miss Pollard, this is your mom.
Yes.
And it is your claim that your mom acknowledges that she kept your personal property when she told you and your son that you had to leave her home.
Yes.
And you want your property back. And your mom says you can have your property back when you pay her the money that you owe her. She seems to allege that you owe her some money for a cell phone bill, for property that you took when you left that didn't belong to you, and something for storage. Had you always lived with your mother?
No, I had not lived with her since I was 16.
And when did you move back?
It was February earlier this year.
And when did she tell you to leave?
I believe it was the 18th of June.
Why did you tell her to leave, Miss Jones?
There had been numerous times that I told her to leave because she became verbally abusive at different times, and told her that this was not working out.
So it wasn't working out because you didn't like her attitude?
Absolutely.
So you told her to leave?
Yes.
Okay. And on June 18th, did she leave?
I had reminded her on June 18th that as of the end of the month she needed to move. And I had told her that at the beginning of June. She was allowed to live with me as long as she was in school full-time.
Just a minute. You told her she had to leave.
Yes.
And what happened on the 18th of June?
She wanted to go to the storage and get her things, which I went with her to the storage and wanted her to sign the storage over to herself. It was in my name.
So?
She could not do that because she didn't have car insurance and they would not lease it to her.
Okay.
So during the day...
The storage unit is storage unit where she put her stuff...
Her belongings.
When she moved into your house?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
But earlier that day when I had told her that she had to move, her demeanor began to escalate and she became verbally abusive again and told me that she was going to take everything she could from me because I had not been the kind of mother I should have been to her.
Okay.
So with that knowledge and going to the storage, I decided that I was going to hold that property until she moved out and I knew that my property was safe.
And?
And when she left, when she moved that day, it was not safe.
Now, what was missing?
She took photographs off the wall. She took...
What photos?
There was a photo, a 1920 photo of my former mother-in-law who I was very close to, who is now deceased.
What else?
She took a rolling pin. She took lids to the Tupperware. She took a cutting board. I mean, mundane, silly things.
Okay, stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else that was important?
She took money out of my closet.
How much money did she take out of your closet?
I'm estimating $200 to $300 in change.
Did she take any change from her house?
No, ma'am.
No. What else?
That's all.
So she took this property out of your house and?
And I asked for it back.
What else does she owe you for?
Just the storage and her cell phone.
Well, tell me about the cell phone.
When she moved in, she wanted a cell phone, and I told her she could use the landline phone that was in the home. She wanted a cell phone to run her little business that she was trying to create. And so I said, I will get you the cell phone, but you have to pay for it. She agreed to pay for that cell phone, which she never did. She also agreed to pay for her storage, which she never did.
Just a second. You got her the cell phone in February or March?
The beginning of February.
So you got the bill in February?
Got the bill in March.
And did you pay the bill in March?
Absolutely.
Did you pay the bill in April?
Yes.
Did you pay the bill in May?
Yes.
Did you pay the bill the beginning of June?
Yes.
Okay. Did you pay the storage bill?
I did.
Was your daughter working?
She was working part-time.
Yes.
And she was not paying me any money.
Good.
She kept saying, I don't have any money to pay you.
Just a second. Was she also going to school?
She was going to school, and I was paying for her books. I put her on my insurance. I paid her medical, her co-pays.
Fine. How old are you?
24.
Okay. So, big deal. What I'm saying to you is big deal. She came back to you for a reason. Difficult time. She's 24 years old. How old's your child?
He just turned 6.
Okay. So, she's clearly a young lady who's made some mistakes. Right?
Yes.
Okay. But she's doing the right thing. She's going to school. She's working part-time. She's buying her own clothes. At least she's trying to buy her own clothes. She's taking care of her from whatever little money she's making. I mean, it's not as if she's sitting around playing the guitar and eating bonbons all day. What do you want?
What I want is I
want
what
rolling pin back?
I want what is fair.
I'm going to tell you what's fair. What's fair is 5 days from today, you want to open the storage unit. You will meet there. You can have a police escort if you wish. She's going to take out her stuff. And as far as the rolling pin, the photos, and anything else, did you take any of that stuff?
No, Your Honor.
Shh.
No.
You have the photo that she's referring to. Don't lie to me.
No, I do not.
Did you take it?
No.
Okay. Did you promise your mother that you would pay for the cell phone?
No.
What about the storage? Did she ask you for money for the storage unit in March?
No.
April?
No, she knew I did
In
not
May.
have any.
Are you still in school?
Yes, I am. I'm full-time right now.
Who's supporting you?
Myself. I have 2 jobs right now.
Okay. 5 days from today, Ms. Pollard, your daughter gets all of her stuff back. I don't think that there's any basis for me to find that there was a loan on your part to your daughter for the cell phone or for the storage unit. I'm sorry if she was, in fact, fresh to you, and she might have been.
Well, Your Honor.
There's a whole history, so I'm sure that she probably said things that she shouldn't have. Did you say anything to your mother that you shouldn't have?
Yes, I did get very upset.
Okay. Well, you shouldn't have, because it's probably hurtful, and I'm sure she's done things to you that you felt were hurtful, and she reacted to that. But reacting to it does not create a loan. Your counterclaim is dismissed. Her property is to be returned to her within 5 days. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Your
That's
Honor.
all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think this is very sad.
Very untrustworthy.
A mother and a daughter have to come to this.
Very vindictive.
The abuse that I've incurred from her over the years.
I don't know what kind of person she is anymore.
Physical and emotional and verbal.
I think I'd probably like to see us go our separate ways.
No, I don't feel I was wrong at all.
I'm done.
Get help.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Langworthy versus Culver. Step forward, please.
24-year-old homemaker Rachel Langworthy is suing her ex-boyfriend, 25-year-old Joe Culver, for wrecking her car, destruction of public property, unpaid car payments, and rent.
Let's deal with one part of this case at a time. According to your complaint, Miss Langworthy, Mr. Culver, who was your former boyfriend, was driving your car. You were in it. He had an accident. The car was damaged. He hit a guardrail, a city guardrail. You want him to pay for the damage to the car, as well as the $500 and some odd that the city has told you have to pay for the guardrail. Mr. Culver says that he was in fact driving, but that at the point of the accident, you switched seats with him. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Why would she do that?
So her insurance would cover for the damage of the guardrail.
And then the police report indicates that she was in fact driving. And his defense is, let your insurance company pay for it, right?
Just for the guardrail, the car was basically, she's like, comes a dime a dozen. She said the car wasn't worth it anyways. Everybody was okay and everybody was all right. So she's like, we can just get a new one.
Just a minute, Mr. Culver. Would you please explain to me what your defense is, sir? You're driving the car.
Yep.
Did you fall asleep?
No. We were driving 55, bringing her sister home. We had an ice storm that day. We were driving on the highway, and the back tires were bald, and we spun out on ice and hit the guardrail.
What kind of car was this?
A Cutlass Sierra. It's an Oldsmobile.
Did you have insurance?
Yes, I did.
Why did you switch seats with him?
After the car was wrecked, we were sitting on the side of the road. Me and my sister had gotten out of the car to check the damage to the car, and that's just where we sat down at the time. When the police came to assess the damage, they just wrote down where everybody was sitting at the time. They didn't write down who was actually driving the car. It's just where we had sat after we got back in the car.
Don't buy it. You want to try it again?
That's what happened.
Fine. Why should he pay for it?
Because he had agreed to pay for it.
Did you?
And he did not.
I said that when my insurance check come in, because I get paid every month.
Let's talk slowly,
Okay,
sir.
sorry about that. I said when my insurance check comes in, I'd help you out getting a new car.
Fine.
But then when my insurance check came in, she said she got a Camaro for free. She don't need me to help her.
Is that true?
No.
How much was your insurance check?
My insurance checks, they're usually $1,400 a month.
What kind of insurance?
It's disability insurance.
What's the matter with you?
I have 3 bones in my neck, which, like, I'm getting surgery done in my neck.
Half of the next check you're going to give to her, $700. Do you understand? Because that's what you said. You said, I'm going to help you out with a car. Is that right?
But when I did get my check, she told me she didn't need me anymore, so...
She needs it now. And you told her that you would give it to her. Is that right?
Yep.
The next part of the lawsuit is that she says she made some car payments for you. Is that true?
basically when I got my short-term disability checks and my disability checks, because she didn't make much money, she'd have me pay for the higher bills and she'd pay for the lower bills.
So you were living together?
Yeah, when we were living together. I paid for the whole time we were together, from January till March. I paid the whole rent, every bit of it.
And what was the rent?
It was $750.
Is that true?
The rent was $750, but yes, I did help pay the rent.
She paid no rent at all. I paid the security deposit, the down payment, everything on that. And
I believe him.
I ain't getting security deposit back because
I believe him.
She basically got into a fight for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks in March, I left. I mean, May, excuse me. In the 2 weeks in May, I didn't pay nothing because she had guys over the house and I left.
So how much is your car payment each month?
It was $75 a week.
How much did she pay towards your car?
Maybe 3, 4 payments.
Is that right? Yes.
I have receipts.
Can I see
Which
the
are all
receipts?
in my name.
Can I see the receipts, please?
Sure.
You may have the receipts, but this says that they received it from him.
Because I had cashed my check every Friday and handed him the money to go down and make the car payments. I told him that I wanted the receipts for the car payments that I did make, and when he got them in his name and handed them to me.
Basically, every time we made a payment, we put the receipts in our filing cabinet, and when I moved out, I did forget them. Because I was in a hurry to get out of the house, that I forgot a lot of stuff there.
I believe both of you just a little teeny bit. Ms. Langworthy.
Yep, Your Honor. Can I say
Yes.
something about that? And when she was paying that, I was also paying for like some of her stuff for her son. I paid for $150 for a Christmas present for her son that she couldn't afford. I paid $300-something on the bathroom. She told me she paid a car payment if I went and got the bathroom supplies, which I spent $320 on, her curtains for the house. So she made those payments because I had the money to go out and get her the stuff that she needed at the time. I don't feel that being together, we pay the bills, together.
Who owns your car?
I own my car.
You still have it?
Yes,
Who made the payments?
I did. She did make a couple of them based
Just a second. Just a
on.
Who moved out of the house?
I did.
Did you put any furniture into the house that you didn't take
And
out?
she got to keep it.
You didn't let me.
Oh, sorry.
Did you buy any furniture for the house that you didn't take out with you when you left?
No.
I don't think he's following you. What did you buy for the house, sir? What furniture did you buy for the house?
No furniture, just like household appliances, like all the bathroom curtains, the shower curtains, all the fancy stuff that she wanted for like the soap dispenser and curtains.
Get over it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,050. That's all. Go. Have a happy life.
Please excuse me. Step out.
I didn't get everything that was owed, but it'll cover getting another vehicle.
We paid the bills together, and now I have to sit there and pay her back the money for payments that I paid for too,
He got mad because I told him to move out of the house.
2 guys coming at the house and I'm still living there.
It's money owed that he doesn't want to pay.
They decided threatening me, so I moved out.
House cleaner Pamela Earle is suing ex-boyfriend, painter Brian Mays, for an assault. Brian is countersuing for the return of his belongings.
Quiet in the courtroom, please. Now, this is case number 140 on the calendar in the matter of Earle versus Mays. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Miss Earle, you and the defendant were sort of in a relationship, I gather, and you moved in with him along with, I think, your children. It is your claim that he became abusive, that you had to flee the apartment, that he owes you for rent because you paid the rent, that he assaulted you, you want to be compensated, that he kept some of your personal property, you want it back. Mr. Mays says that he was really nothing but nice to you, that you had a drug problem. Is that right?
Yes.
And that you were incarcerated at least twice when you were living with him, that he took care of your children, he enrolled them in school, that on the day of the alleged assault, you in fact assaulted him. He's got the police reports to prove it. And he is counterclaiming because he says that when you left the apartment, you stole some property that belonged to him. When did you meet Mr. Mays, Miss Earle?
In December at court. We met at the courthouse.
You met at the courthouse?
Yes, we did. I was moving from my condo. I had just sold it, and I was looking for a place to live, and me and Mr. Mays were kind of dating, but we weren't, like, going out together.
You met him in December. When did you move in with him?
In February. Me and my 2 children moved in with him.
How old are your children?
12 and 13 at the time.
What kind of a drug problem do you have?
I don't anymore. I did have a glass, speed, meth, and so does the defendant.
Where is the father of these two children?
In Fullerton. They live in Fullerton. My children are with their father right now.
Good. Are they there pursuant to a court order?
And now they are, yes.
Now, what was your arrangements with regard to rent? Your rent was $450 a month, according to your complaint?
Yes, ma'am.
And you paid him the rent for April, according to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what happened in April.
My birthday was on the 6th of April. We went to Vegas. We had returned. Me and Brian were having a lot of problems.
Would you look at me?
We were doing drugs at the time. I mean, I must admit I was fully into the drugs with the defendant at the time. I had recently sold my house, so I did have quite a bit of money. The night before in question, all this happened, I had went to the bank in the evening and took out, I believe it was approximately $2,500. I went out that evening and spent like $1,000 on drugs.
Where were your children?
That's a good question. They were with their father at the time. They had returned that night when I had come home. I was very sick at the time. I didn't even do anything. I was very sick. I came in the house and I pretty much laid down. That whole evening, Brian tried to start fights with me. He knew I had money, or he knew I had something, or whether money, drugs, I'm not sure. When I had gotten up that morning to get my kids ready for school, I remember I had parked my car in front of the house instead of in our driveway in the back. And I went to go move my car and get my money. I had a lot of problems with him. I
don't want to hear about all your problems. You left your money in the car? Is that what you're telling me?
So when I came back in, he grabbed me by the throat, took my money. We were fighting. He held me down. If I remember right, I got a couple good punches in there because he did hold me. I mean, I think I did get it. So he grabbed the phone, dialed 911. And the bottom line is he totally beat me up. This guy is 6'2". He beat me up, took my money.
Report?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I see the police report?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have the report, do you?
I was not there.
You have photographs of your injuries?
Yes, yes, ma'am, I do.
No, I'm talking to her. Do you have
okay.
photographs?
I tried to get him. I couldn't get him through the courthouse, through my public defender.
You were charged with assault? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, and I was arrested, but they dropped charges.
But you were arrested?
Yes, definitely.
Well, this is a copy of an incident that happened on April 23rd.
It must be some of the other paperwork that you have there.
Yeah, well, this has to do with Miss Earl assaulting a police officer on April 23rd after she attempted to get her children out of school. And there was a restraining order. You understand that there was a restraining order at that time preventing you from being within 100 yards of your children.
Yes, but I did not know that at the time.
Well, then you knew it. You found out.
Yes, I did.
All right, good. Here we go, on Tuesday, April 8th.
Yes, ma'am.
There we go. Well, your two sons say that they heard Mr. Mays beg you to please move your car that you had parked in the street so that he could get his car out of the driveway to go to work. Begged you over and over again. You were so blitzed out on speed, you probably don't remember that. But your two sons remember that you hit him twice. He hit you not once. That's according to your own sons.
I know.
All
It was
right.
6 o'clock
So what do you want? What do you want from me?
My kids did not see him grab me by the neck and grab my purse and take my money from me.
Miss Earl, if you want to have a clear picture of what happens, you have to have a clear mind.
Yes.
When you are living your life in a drug-induced stupor, which you were on the night of April 8th.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't rely on anything that you say to me. Do you understand?
Okay.
Good. So I don't know what it is that you want. You're not going to get any money for an assault because the only thing that I have is a police report indicating that you assaulted him. That's all I have.
You can't tell just by looking at this guy he can beat the crap out of me?
I want to tell you something else. When somebody is spinning around the world on speed, they think they have the strength of 10 people. According to your own sons, he stood up and said to you, hit me if you have to. You hauled off and you hit him once and then you punched him again on the other side of his face. That's what your two sons said. He certainly, according to the police, has a history of domestic violence.
Oh, yeah, he was arrested. He was arrested.
So were you.
There, but not
you were
anymore.
also arrested 2 weeks later in school when you made a scene and assaulted a couple of cops who went to get you away from your children's school.
I was never assaulted, no cops. I
Oh,
had
sure
never.
you were. You want me to read what the police officers say?
Please, yes.
Oh, sure. I'll be
I've
delighted.
never heard it.
I'll be delighted. Officers Tucker and Harris arrested Earl for her involvement in their case. On my way to the jail, Earl began to kick the back of my seat and call me profanities, such as She seemed irrational and very upset as she was being arrested.
Okay.
Want me to go on?
No, but that's not...
That's what you did to police officers. That's what you did to police officers.
You said I assaulted a police officer. That was calling him a... That's not assaulting somebody. That's not punching somebody. My God.
She told me that she had been sick all night from crashing on meth high. She went on to say that she was addicted to the drug and was coming down from being awake and under the influence of the drug for approximately 3 days.
Sure. But that doesn't say I assaulted a police officer, man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It didn't say that you assaulted a police officer. It said you were a rational human being.
Oh,
Okay, I have
sure
absolutely no evidence. I have absolutely no evidence that you were assaulted by the defendant. What you were suing for is the return of your rent because you paid April's rent, and as of April 8th, you were no longer in the house. And I find that you caused that yourself by assaulting the defendant, so you are not entitled to any rent back for April. Your personal property. Do you have any of her personal properties?
What?
Is not an answer. I expect an answer for you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I left what was left out in the back, and she had come by with some friends and picked that up. There's a couple things that are left.
What's
Dead
left?
on arrival?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Who was arrested the night of the 10th?
I was.
For what?
Because they found some of the plaintiff's paraphernalia in the
Oh, my God. He is my drug dealer.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Pamela Earle says ex-boyfriend Brian Mays beat her up in a fit of rage. Brian claims it was Pamela who beat him up.
Put that down. What's left?
There's a box sitting back there. I don't know what it is.
Fine, but
just,
it's all boxed.
Yes.
Who is this person?
This is a witness that saw what was going on and watched her move the stuff out and take some things of mine.
Does he live next door?
He's my roommate. He was my roommate at the time.
All of our roommates, Your Honor.
Okay. All I want to know is where can she go to pick up her boxes? You want to take it to a local precinct at a set time?
It's right across the street. That'd be fine, Your Honor.
Fine. We'll give you a date.
He's going to have dead on arrival on all my crap, Your
Miss Earle,
Honor.
I want you to be very quiet. I'm losing patience with you very slowly. You want your property back. Whatever he has, he is going to bring to the police station 5 days from today's date. You can go and pick it up there. If you're not there 5 days from today's date, they're going to throw it out. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Now, you want to tell me what property you claim she stole from the house, sir?
I have a list of everything.
Oh, my God.
What's a family lanyard?
They're trading pins that me and my children had collected through the years going to Disneyland on our trips.
Your Honor, I only got a pack of cigarettes from the guy. That's the only thing I took.
You see, when you use drugs, you find it hard to control yourself.
That's my... Oh,
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Step up.
Those are
Mr.
my
Mays,
drug
have you been in a drug rehab program?
Yes, I have.
When was the last time you were in rehab?
Early 2002.
For how long?
14 months.
But then you fell off the wagon, Mr. Mays.
Yes, he did.
No, ma'am.
Oh,
Yes,
sure
he
you
did.
Sure you did. You know how I know that you did?
How's that?
Very easy. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't have taken her into your house. Because if you're in a program for 14 months and you want to stay clean, you don't pick up a drug addict in a courthouse and say, come on to my house. That's how I know. You understand each other?
I was trying to help.
I'm not interested in your being a knight in shining armor for this drug addict.
Yes, ma'am.
You may sound better.
Here's my
You may
drug dealer.
sound better than she does, but the drug rehab program didn't work, Mr. Mays. Did you see her take any property from the house? Look at me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your name.
John River. Sorry.
You ever in drug rehab?
Yes, Your Honor.
When did you leave for the last time?
3 years ago, Your Honor.
Tell me about what you saw Miss Earle take from Mr. Mays' home.
She came in approximately 9 or so at night when Mr. Mays was
What date?
Still incarcerated. I think that was the 12th.
What was he arrested for?
It was part of the domestic violence. So I
Who was
proceeded-
arrested the night of the 10th?
I was.
Yes, he was.
For what?
Because they found some of the plaintiff's paraphernalia in the
Oh my God. He is my drug dealer,
found
Your
what?
Honor.
paraphernalia.
And so they took you away.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
Go ahead.
So when I came home that morning, house was in disarray. Saw a domestic violence pamphlet, so I proceeded to call the police station. Found out that Mr. Mays was incarcerated. About 4 o'clock in the afternoon, her boys showed up. I allowed them to take their property, their bikes, their father. About 9 o'clock at night, she showed up, and I let her take what I thought was hers. There was a brown folder that I believe had stamps in it. The Disney pins that were around the necklace, I did see those.
You did?
Yes.
Where did you see those?
They were hanging in the kid's room.
Did you have children living with you?
No, I do not.
What's a Gerber knife?
It's just a utility knife, like a...
What's a green bottle?
It's something that we picked up when we were in Vegas.
Mr. Mays,
Yes, ma'am.
this is nonsense. This is nonsense, Mr. Mays. We're not talking about anything. We're talking about a Smith & Wesson knife.
That was given to me by my brother in 1981. It was inscribed at Christmas. And
So what do you want from me? You think she still has it? If she took it, you think she still has it? You think she knows where it is? You think she knows where it is? Mr. Mays, you should have been smart enough after being out of rehab for a few months and having been there 14 months not to pick somebody up who was a drug addict in a courthouse and bring him into your home. That was pretty dumb. You're lucky that all she took were a couple of pairs of sunglasses and a couple of kitchen knives. That's all. Your counterclaim is dismissed. As far as your claim is concerned, Ms. Earl,
Yes, ma'am.
I have absolutely no proof that he assaulted you. I have absolutely no proof that he owes you any rent. You chose to leave that day. You fled. You were high on drugs. You acknowledged that you took out $2,500 from the bank to go out and buy $1,000 worth of drugs, leaving your children home unsupervised because, according to you, they came home at some point that evening and you were dead to the world. I have absolutely no sympathy for you. All I can suggest to you is you have a responsibility. If you make 2 children, you're supposed to be a reasonable parent. Stop worrying about the past. Stop worrying about a couple of dollars that you paid and didn't use in rent. Start worrying about being a reasonable parent. And you, sir?
Ma'am,
The fact
even though
that
he
you-
witnessed her take the stuff, it's worth
Oh, no, he
nothing.
didn't. But listen to me. He said he saw her take a folder that he assumed had stamps in it. That's what he said. He said he saw her take a lanyard that was in the boys' room.
That was my kid's room, too,
Listen
when
to
they
me.
came over
He
and stayed
said
there.
they were in the boys' room, is what he said.
Yes.
My kids, when they come to visit me, they stay in that room.
No, that
Well-
was the room I rented, ma'am.
Listen to me. That's what he said. You didn't say anything about a Smith & Wesson knife, did you?
No.
Good. All right. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
They're both drug dealers, both of them.
I never dealt no drugs to her. I never sold her any dope.
And trust me, if he says I beat the shit out of him, he's a wimp. Dude's a wimp.
She needs help.
Yeah.
Representative Raina Short is suing her ex-fiancé, shipping clerk Gerald King, for breaking a lease and for his share of a wedding that never happened. Gerald is countersuing for the return of property and for the cost of a timeshare.
Yes, case number 25 on the calendar in the matter of Short versus King. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Short, you and the defendant were engaged to be married. You were living together. It didn't work out. Mr. King left. He left you a note saying, goodbye, it's not working out. Since you were living in a home and you had signed the lease, you think he should be responsible for his portion of the remainder of the lease, which was 6 months. And in addition, since he terminated the engagement, you believe that he should be responsible for some of the wedding expenses.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. King says he was more than generous. He left a month's rent in advance. He left you his share of March's rent. And in addition, he has a counterclaim. He said that you kept some of his belongings and those of his daughters, who I assume was living with you, and something about a timeshare that you owe him for. He's going to explain that to me. When did you move in together?
September of 2000.
And when was the last time you signed a lease together?
August of 2002.
And what kind of property was that, a home or an apartment?
It's a townhome that we were renting.
You both signed the lease?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct, Mr. King?
Yes, we both did sign that lease.
And what was the rent on the apartment?
$1,510 plus water, which was typically $25 a month. So typically we were paying $1,535 a month.
Okay. And what was Mr. King's share of the rent?
Most months he would pay between $600 and $650 towards the rent.
Is that right?
Yes.
And you moved out in February, sir, and you paid for March?
I paid $575 to her for
March?
March.
All right. So you have April, May, June, July. You have 4 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's $2,400. Now, you, Mr. King, are going to explain to me why you believe you should not be responsible for that $2,400.
Okay, first off, the Capital One bill, which she had placed on this, I guess she's removed it since
I
then.
don't know what you're talking about. I asked you a question. I'm not talking about your counterclaim yet, Mr. King. I'm talking about why you should not be responsible, since you obligated yourself under a lease, why you should not be responsible for $2,400, which is your portion of the rent on the lease that you obligated yourself to pay for.
Well, I feel that all of the bills that we incurred that created debt for us, which primarily is the Transwest account, as well as the lease, which were both things that we signed, 50%, 50%.
I'm not talking, sir, about your counterclaim. So is what you're telling me that you should be responsible for $2,400? And then I will get to your counterclaim.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Is that what you're saying?
No. If I'm taking on my portion of it, then she should also be responsible for taking on her portion of it.
Well, what bills did you take responsibility for, sir?
The Transwest account.
And what is the Transwest account?
It is a timeshare that we signed up for.
That's your counterclaim, sir. I mean, are you not hearing what I'm saying, or are you just being intentionally thick? I'm not entertaining your counterclaim yet. I will do that, which may be a set-off.
Okay.
Is what you're saying to me that you do, in fact, owe her $2,400 for the rent, barring any counterclaim that you have?
For the rent, yes, ma'am.
Now let's get to the wedding expenses. What wedding expenses are we talking about?
There were flowers that were purchased. And
flowers purchased?
Yes, ma'am. Originally, I was going to put the flowers together myself into the bouquets and the headpieces.
These are the flowers that you purchased?
Yes, ma'am. And in turn, we then turned around and had somebody put them together for us. I feel that, seeing as how those flowers could have been used for other things, had they not been converted already into bouquets and headpieces and such, that he should have to pay the cost of having the flowers put into wedding pieces.
Why?
Because of the fact that I numerous different times after he started getting cold feet asked him, is this wedding going to go forth? And he numerous times kept ensuring me, yes, this wedding is going to go forth. The wedding dress is also there because the wedding dress was actually a second dress. I had hired someone to create a dress for me because we were originally going to do a medieval wedding. And so I had purchased fabric for that, had hired someone to do the dress for me. And then his mother kept saying repeatedly that she wanted a more normal wedding, a more traditional wedding. So I asked him, he said all he wanted was to marry me. Seeing as how we were going to be together and sharing all these expenses would be no problem at all. So I took the fabric, gave it to my sister. She was going to take the fabric that had been purchased to make my original dress and was going to make our flower girls and junior bridesmaids dresses. And I purchased a second wedding dress. Whereas if he had told me that he was having cold feet or wanted out of it, I never would have.
He was having cold feet, madam. He told you he was having cold feet. He postponed the wedding.
He said postpone, not cancel.
That should have been a clue. That should have been a clue. Somebody says, we're having some problems here. The wedding's going to go forward, hon. You know I want to marry you and I know I love you, but I'm really not quite comfortable. I wouldn't go out and get flowers.
He did that part, though, after the second dress was purchased.
Okay. Mr. King, I want you to tell me about the property that you claim that Ms. Short is holding that belongs to you, as well as this timeshare.
Okay. First, there is 2 beds, twin, which is my daughter's, and a queen size, which is mine. A television and a VCR, which I had brought with me from the last place that I had lived. A computer, which I had purchased back there, and then a monitor that we had purchased when we were in the relationship together. Those are the primary items that I have
you
listed.
said we purchased the monitor. Certain things you say you purchased, and some you said we purchased a monitor. When you said we purchased a monitor, who put in the money?
Both of us.
It was put on my credit card, Your Honor.
Okay. What about the other things you talked about? Beds?
There are pictures right here that I have as evidence. His He has the the garage door opener to the garage. All of his belongings have been in the garage since a week after he left. At one point, he came to the house, retrieved some of them, but has had the garage door opener since then, and he has refused to come by the house to pick up the rest of his belongings. They are all in the garage. He has full access to them at any time, whether I'm there or not, because he does have the garage door opener.
Sir, the things that you mentioned are here. So why don't you go get them?
The last time I had, we had arranged to be able to talk about this whole situation. It was approximately a week and a half after I had left. And I went to make contact with her, and we sat down and we had lunch, and then we went over to the house, and I went to start loading items up in my car because she was speaking on the telephone, and I figured I'd give her privacy. And so I was loading the items up, and I went to load my computer up, and she told me that I could not take it because...
Well, is the computer and the monitor?
Well, at the time...
Yes, ma'am.
Of course.
At
Well, you can't take the computer and the monitor, sir. You didn't pay for it.
Well, the computer I did, ma'am.
What about the computer?
The computer, he did bring the PC portion of it. Yes, ma'am, he did bring that.
Is that in the garage?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay, well, it's going to be in the garage, but not the monitor.
I went to begin loading the computer up, and she prevented me from leaving
Fine.
the house.
Were you loading up the monitor, too?
No.
No.
I hadn't gotten to the monitor yet.
But you were going to?
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What is the amount left on the timeshare?
According to this, to remove my name states a zero balance.
I don't understand what that means.
It means
Are you
that...
playing with me?
No, ma'am.
And later today,
Was there anything else that you could have done other than jump on the roof?
No, I just jumped. I'm afraid of dogs. I jumped.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Raina Short says ex-fiancé Gerald King owes for breaking a lease and for half the cost of a wedding.
So, only your things. Listen to me. Your things. The computer, that's going to be in here because that belongs to you, not the monitor.
Okay.
Not the monitor. The rest of the things you have to go get. But, listen to me. You have to go get them 5 days from today. Do you understand?
Yes.
If you do not go to get them 5 days from today, I am giving her permission to call the Salvation Army and dump all your stuff. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because she's not your storage unit. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Now, that takes care of your things. Speak not. Speak not. He's not paying the wedding expenses.
No, that's not what this is about.
What do you want?
The timeshare.
No, he gets a chance to speak
Oh,
first.
I apologize.
Now, I'm getting to the part of your counterclaim where you're talking about the timeshare. I want you to explain that to me, sir.
Okay, the timeshare was it's called WorldMark. It's an agreement that allows us to have points to be able to spend to stay at different locations around the United States and in the Pacific.
Good.
We had approximately a year and a half ago signed the agreement with both of our signatures on it for the total amount that has now come down to $7,821.
$7,821.
And 90 cents.
Yes.
Half of that would be approximately, well, will be exactly $3,910.
Just a minute, divide
95
by
cents.
2. Yes, go ahead.
First off, I have the agreement here.
Okay, no. Did you sign that agreement?
Yes, ma'am, I sure did.
Okay. You acknowledge that you're obligated to pay $3,910?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Because I have made all the payments to date out of a direct withdrawal from my account. I have also got the documentation here to take my name off of it. It was purchased as for our honeymoon and for us as a family to utilize. If I'm not able to use it for my honeymoon or as a family, I have no need for the property.
Well, neither does he.
He's moved in with another person who has a family whom he is sharing things with.
But neither does he.
But
has he used the timeshare? Have you
neither
used
of
it?
us have.
Yeah,
And
but
I
you're
have taken my name off of it.
Well, you can't. You can't.
And the fact
Ms.
that...
Short, you can't take your name off of it. That's just like him saying to me, I'm not living in the apartment anymore. I'm taking my name off the lease. That's what I've done. I called the landlord and I said to the landlord, take my name off.
She appeared mid-morning, marching up the gravel drive with the confidence of someone used to being obeyed. Her hair was cut into the kind of severe blonde bob that announced authority before she even spoke. A clipboard rested in one hand, a phone in the other, and she scanned the cabin as if conducting an inspection. She introduced herself as Karen Delmont, head of the Ridgeview Homeowners Association. Ethan tried to explain that there must be some mistake. Their cabin wasn't within Ridgeview, never had been, but Karen's expression hardened. She insisted this property fell under her purview, claiming the HOA recently extended jurisdiction to cover the lakeside area. Ethan had heard enough HOA horror stories to sense where this was heading. But Mia wasn't there at the moment. She'd gone for a morning walk down the trail to the water's edge. Karen scribbled notes furiously, pointing out imaginary violations: non-compliant exterior paint, unregistered fire pit, improper trash disposal. Ethan tried to tell her they didn't have trash bins because it was private land. But Karen didn't listen. She snapped a few photos with her phone and promised to report the infract. The mountain air was crisp that morning, brushing through the tall pines that framed the narrow gravel road leading up to the cabin. It had been months since Ethan and his wife Mia had managed to get away from the city's constant noise, and this little slice of woodland serenity was supposed to be their reward for enduring it all. The cabin, a sturdy log structure perched on a gentle slope overlooking a glassy lake, had belonged to Mia's late grandfather. She'd inherited it a few years ago, tucked the deed safely away, and rarely mentioned it, until now. The couple had arrived late Friday afternoon, their SUV kicking up dust as they turned into the long, winding driveway. The property wasn't fancy, but it was theirs. Well, hers, technically. It had a charm city homes never could: rough-hewn timber beams, a porch swing creaking in the wind, and a faint smell of pine sap that clung to the walls. For Mia, it wasn't just a vacation spot. It was a piece of family history, untouched by the chaos of suburban life. The first day passed peacefully. They unpacked groceries, lit a fire, and took in the stillness that city dwellers forget exists. Even the occasional chirp of crickets sounded like music. By evening, the lake turned to gold under the setting sun, and Ethan found himself wondering why they'd waited so long to return. But that peace began to splinter the next morning. Ethan noticed it first. A strange vehicle parked at the edge of their property line. A white SUV with a bright blue HOA security decal on the side door, partially hidden behind some brush. It didn't make sense. The cabin wasn't part of any neighborhood association. It was deep in the woods, separated from the nearest town by a 10-minute drive. Still, the vehicle lingered. Then came the woman.ions. When Mia returned, she laughed it off. "Let her file whatever she wants," she said, setting her coffee mug on the porch rail. "This cabin isn't even in their system." But the next morning, 2 HOA officers showed up, clipboard-wielding volunteers who claimed they were there to inspect for compliance. They roamed the property uninvited, jotting notes and snapping photos while Ethan stood in disbelief. He called out, demanding they leave, but they waved off his protests, muttering about pending citations. By the time they left, Mia was fuming. She dug through old documents until she found the cabin's deed and survey map, both clearly proving the property lay outside Ridgeview HOA boundaries. But instead of showing it to them, she made a decision. She wouldn't waste time arguing with people who didn't have authority. That afternoon, she and Ethan tried to ignore it all. They grilled on the back deck, watched the sun dip behind the mountains, and convinced themselves the drama was over. But Karen wasn't done. As darkness fell, a strange sound echoed through the woods. Low murmurs, footsteps on gravel, the crunch of leaves. When Ethan stepped out with a flashlight, he caught sight of Karen again, standing just beyond the property line, talking to someone on her phone. Her flashlight beam scanned across their porch, the deck chairs, and the parked SUV like she was documenting evidence. When Ethan called out, she disappeared into the shadows. The next morning brought the first real confrontation. Karen arrived unannounced once again, this time accompanied by 2 uniformed officers. She accused Mia of unauthorized occupancy and trespassing on HOA-managed property. Ethan's jaw nearly dropped. The officers, clearly uncertain, asked for identification and property papers. Karen, standing smugly behind them, smirked as if victory was already hers, but Mia didn't flinch. She calmly fetched the old deed from the cabin, her name bold and clear on the ownership line, dated and notarized years before Karen's HOA even existed. When the officers compared it with Karen's vague community boundary map, the contrast was undeniable. The map looked like something printed off a home computer, the kind of document that wouldn't hold up in any legal setting. Karen's smile faltered, but she refused to back down. She muttered something about pending jurisdiction updates and promised to return with documentation. The officers, now visibly uncomfortable, offered polite apologies and left. That should have been the end of it. But people like Karen didn't retreat. They regrouped. By evening, Ethan noticed something new. A freshly posted HOA property violation notice nailed to a tree near their driveway, printed in red and white ink. It claimed the owners were in violation of Ridgeview Code 14.7 for non-compliance with visual standards. Mia ripped it down without hesitation. But in that moment, Ethan realized something unsettling. Karen wasn't just being annoying, she was escalating. Somehow, she had convinced herself that this cabin, this quiet inheritance, belonged under her control. And Karen Delmont wasn't going to stop until she proved it. As night fell and the crickets began their quiet song, Mia sat by the fire, gazing into the flames. The reflection of the orange light flickered in her eyes, not fear, but resolve. The weekend retreat that was supposed to be peaceful had turned into something else entirely. A war over property, pride, and power had just begun. The next morning dawned gray and heavy, the kind of sky that promised rain and tension all at once. Ethan woke to the sound of gravel crunching outside the cabin. When he looked through the blinds, his stomach sank. Karen was back. But this time, she wasn't alone. 2 pickup trucks sat idling at the base of the driveway, both with Ridgeview HOA logos crudely stenciled on their doors. A handful of volunteers, middle-aged men in reflective vests, stood around, holding measuring tape and clipboards like they were about to start a construction project. And at the center of it all was Karen, arms folded, her expression sharp as ever. Ethan stepped out onto the porch, heart pounding. Karen was pointing toward the cabin's deck, giving orders to the men, who were now inspecting the property's boundary markers. She noticed Ethan watching and raised her voice just enough to be heard over the rumble of engines. Though he couldn't make out every word, one phrase stuck: encroachment on community space. That was enough. Mia emerged moments later, her hair tied back, holding a folder thick with paperwork, the deed, tax records, and surveyor's map. The rain began to fall in soft, steady drops as she walked down the path to confront them. The volunteers froze, uncertain, while Karen stepped forward, clutching her clipboard like a badge of authority. Mia laid out the papers on the hood of one of the trucks, her voice calm but her eyes fierce. The men exchanged glances. It was clear from the documents that this land wasn't part of Ridgeview. It never had been. The survey map dated back to her grandfather's ownership, years before the HOA was even founded. But Karen, rather than backing down, doubled down. She accused Mia of forging the documents, claiming the official maps had been updated to include the Lakeside extension, a claim that no one else seemed to have heard of. Her words grew sharper, her tone more condescending, until even her own volunteers began to look uneasy. The confrontation ended only when Ethan threatened to call the sheriff's office. Karen scowled, muttered something about temporary leniency, and motioned for her volunteers to leave. The trucks backed away, the sound of their tires echoing off the wet gravel, leaving behind deep tracks in the mud, and a deeper unease in the couple's minds. That night, the rain came down harder. It pounded against the roof, and thunder rolled through the valley. Ethan couldn't sleep. He sat by the window, watching water streak down the glass, listening for the faintest sign of movement outside. It wasn't paranoia. It was intuition. Just after midnight, his instincts proved right. A faint beam of light flickered through the trees, sweeping across the edge of the property. He caught sight of a silhouette, someone in a raincoat holding a flashlight. They moved with purpose, pausing to shine the light at the cabin's foundation, then the deck, then toward the small shed out back. Ethan grabbed his jacket and stepped quietly onto the porch. He shouted once, loud enough to carry through the rain. The light vanished instantly. Whoever it was, and Ethan had little doubt who, disappeared into the woods. By morning the rain had stopped, but the damage was visible. Someone had pulled up the wooden stake that marked the boundary line, the very one Mia's grandfather had installed decades ago. It now lay snapped in half near the path. A new, freshly painted post stood in its place, several feet closer to the cabin, effectively shifting the boundary toward their land. Karen had crossed the line, literally. Mia took photos, documenting everything. She drove down to the county clerk's office that afternoon, determined to file a formal complaint. The clerk confirmed what they already knew. The cabin was not under Ridgeview jurisdiction. and any HOA enforcement beyond their subdivision boundaries was illegal. They even printed a certified copy of the property plat map as proof. Mia left the office confident. But when she returned, her heart sank. A large notice of violation was now taped to their front door, laminated, printed, and stamped with the Ridgeview HOA logo. It cited multiple infractions, including unauthorized structural modifications, non-compliant outdoor fixtures, and refusal to comply with community standards. The fine listed at the bottom was absurd, $3,500. Ethan tore it down in anger, but Mia stopped him before he ripped it apart completely. "Keep it," she said. "We'll need evidence." That night, they installed a camera near the porch. It wasn't paranoia anymore. It was necessity. The next morning, their decision was validated when they reviewed the footage. At 3:17 a.m., headlights flashed briefly across the driveway. The same white SUV pulled in, idled for a few seconds, and then someone stepped out. Karen. She walked up to the door, taped the notice in place, and left. The evidence was undeniable. But what shocked Ethan wasn't the trespassing. It was the look on Karen's face in the video. Cold, smug, and completely convinced she was in the right. The couple decided it was time to fight back. Mia contacted a property lawyer, explaining the situation. The lawyer, a soft-spoken man who'd handled HOA disputes before, seemed incredulous. "They can't enforce anything there," he said. "If what you're describing is accurate, this isn't just overreach. It's harassment." He advised them to document everything. Every notice, every encounter, every late-night intrusion. He also mentioned something else. A civil suit could be filed for trespassing and harassment if it continued. For the first time in days, Ethan felt a flicker of hope. But Karen wasn't finished. The following weekend, as they were preparing breakfast, a black and white police cruiser rolled up the driveway. 2 officers stepped out. Mia's heart sank as one of them explained that they'd received a report. A call from the Ridgeview HOA, claiming there were unauthorized occupants at the cabin. Karen had called the police again. Ethan tried to explain the situation, showing the officers the same documents Mia had taken to the county clerk. They reviewed them carefully, clearly realizing this was a civil dispute blown out of proportion. One officer even sighed and said, "We get these kinds of HOA complaints all the time." But while they spoke, Karen appeared once more, standing at the edge of the driveway with her arms crossed, watching. Her expression carried that familiar, icy satisfaction. When the officers finally left, advising everyone to cool off, Karen shouted after them that she would escalate this through proper channels. Mia didn't respond. She simply turned, walked into the cabin, and closed the door. But in her silence was something Karen didn't recognize: quiet, dangerous resolve. That night, Mia sat at the table, drafting something long and detailed. A formal notice, signed and dated, declaring Karen's repeated trespasses and false reports. Ethan watched as she sealed it in an envelope addressed to the county sheriff's department and another copy to the Ridgeview HOA office. Karen thought she was the authority. She was about to find out just how wrong she was. The storm that followed was not of weather, but of consequences. For days, Karen's world of clipboards and control began to unravel, though she didn't know it yet. Mia's letters had landed exactly where they needed to. One went to the county sheriff, backed by time-stamped photos, videos, and copies of every fake violation notice Karen had plastered on their cabin. The other was delivered to Ridgeview's own HOA board, the people Karen claimed to represent. Both carried the same message: cease harassment or face legal action. But Karen, cocooned in her illusion of authority, took the warnings as a personal challenge. By the following week, Ethan noticed a new sign posted at the end of their road. Private community, HOA members only. It wasn't official, but it was clear who had put it there. Karen was trying to redraw the boundaries of power one sign at a time. What she didn't expect was the ripple effect. Ridgeview's HOA president, a quiet man named Leonard Hayes, called Mia personally after receiving her letter. He apologized profusely, admitting he'd had no idea Karen had extended her enforcement beyond Ridgeview's legal limits. She wasn't acting under any board authorization. In fact, The board had received other complaints about her overstepping boundaries within the community itself. It turned out Karen had a pattern, an obsession with control that had already fractured the neighborhood. Several homeowners had accused her of harassment, but until now, no one had provided concrete proof. Mia's evidence changed that. For the first time, the board began to distance itself from her. But Karen didn't take kindly to being reined in. A few days later, she returned, this time under the guise of final inspection. She arrived alone, without volunteers or police, but her fury was barely concealed. Ethan saw her from the porch, storming up the driveway, lips pressed tight, eyes blazing. She went straight to the cabin wall, snapping photos and muttering under her breath. When Mia came out, calm and composed, Karen turned on her like a predator backed into a corner. She waved her phone and threatened civil enforcement, claiming she'd reported them for illegal occupancy to the county assessor's office. Mia didn't argue. She simply handed Karen a copy of the sheriff's acknowledgement letter, proof that her harassment complaint was now an open case. The sight of an official stamp broke through Karen's confidence like glass. Her face went pale, her voice trembled, and for a brief, satisfying moment, her entire facade of control cracked. But she didn't apologize. She just turned, muttered something unintelligible, and marched back to her SUV, tires spitting gravel as she sped away. That evening was the first peaceful one in weeks. Ethan and Mia sat by the fire, sharing quiet smiles as the wood crackled. For the first time since arriving, they felt like they might actually be safe again. Yet peace has a way of making tyrants desperate. 3 days later, Ethan came home from a quick grocery run to find something unthinkable, a large for sale sign driven into the ground near their property line. It bore the Ridgeview HOA logo and listed the lot as available for development. The description beneath it was unmistakably theirs: lakeside property with rustic cabin, pending community approval. It wasn't just harassment anymore. It was theft, or the illusion of it. Karen was trying to claim ownership through public deception. Mia didn't panic. Instead, she went methodical. She called the real estate number listed on the sign, her voice steady. The agent on the other end was confused. They'd received the property details from a community liaison named Karen Delmont. The listing hadn't been verified yet. That was all Mia needed. She forwarded everything, call logs, the sign photos, the fake listing, straight to her lawyer. Within hours, he filed a formal cease and desist order to both Karen and the Ridgeview HOA, warning of potential fraud and defamation charges. The next morning, Karen's SUV appeared again, only this time not with her trademark smugness. She tore the for sale sign out of the ground herself, flinging it into her trunk before speeding off. But even as she retreated, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't done. People like Karen didn't quit. They waited for an angle. Sure enough, the next act in her crusade came quietly. A week later, 2 county officials arrived at the cabin, polite, clipboard-carrying men from the zoning department. They explained they'd received a complaint about unauthorized residential occupancy on unapproved land. It was bureaucratic language, but the meaning was clear. Karen had filed a formal report trying to get the county involved. Mia, already prepared, produced every deed and legal map once again. The officials quickly realized the complaint was baseless. Still, protocol required them to verify a few things. They toured the cabin, took notes, and assured Mia there would be no penalty. As they left, one of them quietly said, "This happens more often than you'd think. People with a little power sometimes forget where it ends." By now, Karen's name was circulating far beyond Ridgeview. The HOA board had convened an emergency meeting to review her conduct. Several residents demanded her removal. Word spread about her confrontations, her unauthorized boundary claims, her false police reports. The cracks were turning into a collapse. That weekend, Mia and Ethan received a letter from the Ridgeview HOA, not from Karen, but signed by President Leonard Hayes himself. It was short, formal, and decisive, effective immediately. Ms. Karen Delmont has been suspended from all HOA duties pending investigation. Ridgeview Homeowners Association disavows all enforcement actions taken beyond its registered boundaries. We apologize for any distress caused. For Ethan, it was vindication. For Mia, it was justice, but for Karen, it was humiliation. That evening, as the sun dipped below the mountains, a single car pulled into the far end of their driveway. The headlights stayed on, idling. Ethan recognized the silhouette even before the door opened. Karen stepped out slowly, staring at the cabin from a distance. She didn't shout, didn't. Shoulders, watching. Then, without a word, she got back in her SUV and drove away. It should have been the end. But as the taillights vanished into the forest road, Ethan couldn't shake the unease creeping in his chest. Because deep down, he knew, people like Karen didn't disappear quietly. Somewhere, out there in the dark, she was already plotting her next move, for nearly a week. The woods around the cabin were silent again, deceptively peaceful. The birds sang in the mornings, the lake shimmered at dusk, and the nights were calm enough to hear the crackle of firewood echo through the stillness. It almost felt as if the storm had passed for good, but Ethan knew better. Karen Delmont wasn't the type to accept defeat quietly. She was the kind who saw every loss as temporary, every setback as a challenge to overcome. And though the HOA had officially disowned her, she had built too much of her identity on that false authority to simply walk away. Her next move came in whispers. One morning, when Ethan stopped by the small supply store in town, the clerk, an older man who'd lived in the area for decades, gave him a strange look. "Heard your place is tied up in some legal mess," he said casually. "Something about zoning violations and back taxes?" Ethan froze. That rumor wasn't true. It couldn't be. But someone had started spreading it, and he didn't need to guess who. By the time he got back to the cabin, Mia had already received a letter. It was addressed to Occupant, Lakeside Parcel 17, written in an unfamiliar hand, stamped but unsigned. Inside was a single sheet of paper claiming their property was under review for tax delinquency. At the bottom was a phone number that didn't match any county department. A quick call to the real county office confirmed what they suspected. The letter was fake. A forged notice meant to scare them. Mia's frustration hardened into resolve. She'd been patient through Karen's harassment, through false citations and police calls, but this was different. This was malicious fraud. She gathered the evidence again. This time not for a complaint, but for